Hi everyone. So today I will take a few minutes to speak about PCOS or Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. This is a condition that actually affects about 15 to 20% of women in their menstruating years. And I myself have been diagnosed with PCOS. It is a metabolic condition and it involves having an abnormally large number of follicles on one or both of the ovaries. So normally we do have follicles. Follicles are the little sacs where the eggs mature and then they are released at ovulation, ready for fertilization. Now when we have a lot of follicles on one or both of the ovaries, it can lead to difficulty for the egg to be released. So it often means that women with PCOS don't ovulate, or maybe they don't ovulate with every cycle, and that also can lead to difficulty getting pregnant. But just to start with, I wanted to just briefly talk about what is the cause of PCOS. So it is a metabolic condition. It can be really connected to our lifestyle and the diet, but also it can be inherited. So when I had an Ayurvedic consultation with an Ayurvedic doctor back in India, there was something very interesting that I learned, is that whatever my mother was eating while she was pregnant with me could have impacted me having PCOS. So if there was foods that are quite inflammatory, that could have led to developing this condition, which is PCOS. So it doesn't really matter, I think, why we have PCOS. I mean, as long as if it's something within our control, I think it does matter, because lifestyle and diet we can control. But the fact that we know that, oh, maybe my mother was not eating that well while she was pregnant, I think this is something that we cannot change. So I think it's really important to focus on what we can do. So when it comes to the symptoms, so normally women with PCOS will have irregular periods. It's just because the follicles are so many and it's very difficult for the eggs to be released. So often there is missed ovulation, and the period is quite irregular, and it can be very irregular, and the cycles can be very, very long. I remember having cycles of 60 days or 80 days, so very, very long cycles. Another symptom would be excessive hair growth, could be on the face, on the chest, and that is because usually women with PCOS are producing more androgens, which are hormones that are there's more of androgens produced in male bodies than in female bodies. So when we have more of them, there is more hair growth in those different places. Another symptom could be weight gain, also hair loss, acne, and difficulty getting pregnant because there is no ovulation, or not every cycle will have ovulation. So I think that what I want to mostly talk about is not maybe the symptoms and the causes of PCOS, but really how can you support yourself with PCOS in a mindful and sustainable way. So I think the symptoms that I just mentioned, they are just some of them, because there is other ones. A lot of women can experience a lot of fatigue or maybe mood swings, and because the cycle is irregular, that kind of natural fluctuation of the hormones is affected. So it's quite different to a person that might have a cycle of 30 days. And to really support yourself when you are dealing with PCOS, I think there's a few things to look at. And I would say the main things to look at is our lifestyle, our stress level, and our diet. And I think there is so much in these three areas, but I just want to speak about them in a very brief way, and maybe we can kind of unpack these topics in the coming weeks, or if you want to join one of my upcoming courses about menstrual cycle awareness, we will talk about this in more detail. So stress and lifestyle, these are really interconnected because our lifestyle affects our stress levels, how we respond to life, and there's a lot in these two aspects of our life. So stress is really linked to our nervous system, and it can also be linked to our habits, our different traumas related to our childhood. So it can be very, very deep. But generally speaking, stress affects our hormonal balance because the nervous system and the endocrine system are very, very connected. And the level of stress that we have in our lives could be chronic stress actually. It really impacts our endocrine system, and it affects our menstrual cycle. So generally speaking, I feel that we need to become more in tune with ourselves and live more in tune with our natural rhythm. So this is how we can help and support our PCOS. So I found that a few years ago when I started practicing menstrual cycle awareness, which is really a mindful approach to our cyclical nature as women, I became really aware of my energy levels, of the changes in my mood, the fluctuations in of the hormones, how they really affect how I am on the physical level, also on the mental level, the emotional level, how I relate to myself, how I relate to others. And why that is important is because when we are aware of how we actually are truly, not just on the surface, because sometimes we can be really on the go in life and we are actually not aware how we are truly feeling. It's only when we are truly connected to how we are that we can respond accordingly, we can respond to our needs accordingly. And I think that is really, really important when it comes to soothing our nervous system and just really giving ourselves what we truly, truly need. And that involves creating boundaries, developing healthy relationships, a good balance between work, family, friends, the things that we love doing, the time alone that we need. So this is really, really important because I really, really feel that since I started doing that, my body just started to really develop that natural rhythm, develop more trust. And I realized that at times in the past, I was really going against my natural rhythm. And sometimes we are really unaware that we are doing it. We think that we are going in the rhythm that is suitable for us, but in fact, it might not be. So things obviously like yoga, meditation, they can help because they can help us to develop more awareness of our body. But I think we need to be also careful not to add all of these self-care tools that they just become another thing on our list to tick off. So it's important that we use them for our benefit, that it doesn't just become another activity. And the way I like to look at that is that, I practice yoga, meditation pretty much every day, but the practice is very different. So when I feel lower energy, maybe I'm just sitting still. If I have high energy, I want to do something more energetic, and I do that. So this is part of becoming really in tune with your needs. And that can really, really help. It helps our bodies because we can nourish our bodies in a way that is supportive. And then diet is also really, really important because when it comes to PCOS, one of the things that is making PCOS worse is eating inflammatory foods, and that includes sugar, wheat, dairy, alcohol, coffee. So really having a look at that, maybe avoiding these foods, looking at maybe one of the groups to start with, not maybe changing everything straight away. And also some women will have insulin resistance, which is related to our sugar levels as well. I won't talk about insulin resistance here in this video, and there's a lot of resources about that online, I think, but it's also really important what we eat, maybe increasing the amount of fiber that we eat, so we have a healthy gut as well, to have also healthy elimination of any excess estrogen, which is one of the main female hormones, and this is all contributing to improving our hormonal balance and helping to support ourselves with our PCOS. And all of these things combined together can really make a huge difference. I went from having very irregular periods to having quite regular periods. I can actually feel my ovulation these days, and also the period is quite regular. It's between 35 to 42 days. So it's pretty incredible. Just applying these few things can make a huge difference, but it obviously takes time, so I would allow some time for these changes to happen. So it's a longer video than I planned, but I think there is so much to unpack in this topic, but I just wanted to share some of the most important things, and I would love to hear your thoughts. I do think that starting with this mindful approach to your life, to your body, how you show up every day, is really crucial. And then just taking a look at other things, our lifestyle, the food that we eat, and all of the little things, all of that is really making an impact on our well-being. So thank you all, and do write a comment or share any questions, any observations. And if you are interested to learn more about menstrual cycle awareness, I will be running a 4-week course about the inner seasons of the menstrual cycle, and I think in the new year we will do a deeper dive into the menstrual cycle and also the nervous system. So that's going to be in the new year, probably a 4-month program, so just something to look out for. Thank you all.